It's we usually have a whole Halloween spooktacular in here,
Yes.
but it is COVID, but it looks really nice.
Now
I like it, guys.
you will be wearing a costume tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna like half costume it. I don't like to overwhelm you with my insanity.
No, that's okay.
So I keep it like moderate.
All right.
But I will be Halloweeny. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so
All right.
this has me in a very festive mood.
So yes, it should. So this just came out. Tom Brady was named NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Nobody in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has ever been named Offensive Player of the Month. Folks, between New England being bad and Tom Brady now being the best player in football, this is the biggest landslide in the history of divorces. She upgraded to a superstar. He now lives with his parents. There's never been a divorce like this. Brady currently, his rankings in football compared to the New England Patriots, we'll put a graph up. Brady now in the NFL, passing yards fourth, touchdowns first, interceptions fewest, passer rating fourth. This is in October, just top of the league, everything. And the New England Patriots, meanwhile, are absolute dreck. Last in passing yards, last in passing touchdowns, most interceptions, last in passer rating. Again, this is a landslide divorce. So I want to start with this. So when I suggested this offseason, this summer, it was amazing to watch the media react. I suggested Belichick is going to reboot. Now, you're not going to tank in the NFL. Nobody uses that word. But when I suggested they're going to be 5-11, 4-12, and they're going to have a top 10 pick, it was remarkable to watch the media react. And this is what I kept hearing, Joy as my witness. Belichick is too competitive to let that happen. Oh, that's adorable. So you've never actually owned a business, because that's what all business billionaires do. They reboot all the time. 1 step back, 3 steps forward. You really think Bill is too competitive to reboot for a year? The most competitive guy in the NBA is Steve Kerr. He once punched Michael Jordan. Steve Kerr is legendary. Ask officials, ask coaches. He punched Michael Jordan. Kevin Durant leaves, Steph gets hurt. They tank. I thought Steve Kerr's too competitive to take a step back. No, he's too smart not to. The Boston Red Sox, you don't think they care about winning? Mookie Betts, see ya. David Price, bye. They got expensive. They wanted to reboot for a year. You don't think the Red Sox are competitive? Here's what Bill Belichick is. Bill Belichick is too competitive to be bad like this for 7 years. Bill Belichick is too smart not to understand how he's going to win again. That's the only two Bill Belichick is. American companies are full of brilliant men and women, CEOs, founders, that have taken a step back for a year to rebuild the project, the mechanism, the idea. Belichick isn't too competitive to step back for a year. He's too smart not to. There's only one way out of this mess: the draft. It's not Cam Newton. Sorry, it's not. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. First of all, why would San Francisco give up Garoppolo? Who's their quarterback in that division? You're going to face Goff, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson. Let's let Jimmy Garoppolo go. What? I mean, that'd be idiotic. The idea the media couldn't get this. So go look at New England's schedule. It's working out perfectly. They're a 2-win team. If you look at the rest of the way, they'll beat the Jets both times. That's 4 wins. Every other game is completely losable. They're not going to beat Buffalo this weekend. They're not as good as the Ravens, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Texans, the Rams. They're not as good as the Dolphins right now or the Bills again. And they'll be 4-12, at best 5-11. Do you know what that gets you in the draft this year? Top 5, top 6. That gets you one of the 3 quarterbacks. Listen, the idea, I don't even get the media sometimes. Like fans, by the way, here's what's interesting. When I threw my idea out there, the fans all got it. Because a lot of fans are business owners. A lot of you that follow me on Twitter, a lot of you that listen, you've been in a business. And you know how business works, write-offs. You have to step back and get rid of a good employee to take 2 steps forward. The audience totally got the idea that it's a reboot year. The media just doesn't get it. Of course it's a reboot year. How do you ensure you get one of the top 7 quarterbacks or top 3 quarterbacks now in this draft? You trade Stephon Gilmore. You let guys go at the trading deadline. You don't upgrade. You keep selling parts. You let 8 guys opt out. That was so un-Belichickian. Yeah, spend time with your family. Don't worry about football. Spend time with your family. 8 players opted out. It's all part of the plan, and it's coming true. It is coming true. Is if you look at the schedule, if there's how many days till the trading deadline? Like a Tuesday? If they let one more guy walk, if they trade one more guy, what are they telling you? Belichick is too smart not to reboot. He's too competitive to want to see this for the next 7 years, and there's only one way out of this dreck. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. It's not getting Garoppolo. It's not going to happen, and it's not sticking with Cam Newton. It ain't working. All right, so this is, I will admit, I am from the coast, and I've lived a coastal life. Okay, I'm one of those coastal elites. It's nothing against the Midwest, but, Midwestern people are very nice. They save their money. They pay off their house. Flies land on their head. They act like, it didn't happen. This is sort of a Midwestern thing. Joy is from Pittsburgh, which is not Midwest, but is closer to it. She probably has this Midwest ethos. Only one vacation a year. You buy used cars. It's very Midwest. And there is nothing wrong with that, although I do acknowledge that I would tell you if a fly lands on your head, you should knock it off. The point being on this is there's nothing wrong with buying used cars. There is nothing wrong with putting away money. There is nothing wrong living below your means. Don't you want to be a player once in your life? Don't you want to take Darlene to a Ritz-Carlton once? Spend $8,000 at a roulette table? Don't you want to be a player once in your life? Do you always want to go out with the guys and,
well, I spent $4 on a baked potato and $7 on a pork chop and $3 for...
Don't you want to pick up the check once? Be a player? Like one time? Buy Darlene flowers, even if it's not her birthday? Just because? Add some lingerie? Don't you want to be a player once? Green Bay? Be a player. The Green Bay Packers have interest now in Will Fuller. I don't know if it'll work, but Green Bay has a history of living below their means and buying a used car. They get lucky at hell as quarterback with Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they never really got those guys enough talent. Seattle's upgrading, the Niners upgrade, Baltimore upgrades, Philadelphia does, the Rams do. They roll the dice all the time. They take their wife to Ritz-Carlton. They buy new golf clubs they can't afford. They buy a new sports car occasionally. They buy flowers when it's not their wife's birthday. Green Bay, go for it. You butchered the second pick in the draft. You needed a wide receiver. Go get Will Fuller. I don't know if it'll work, but you owe it to Aaron Rodgers. He's 37 years old. He's broken his collarbone twice. And I'm watching all these other teams adding pieces and adding. Seattle adds a legitimate defensive lineman, and Baltimore's adding this, and the Niners want to add this. Don't be the guy that goes to Vegas and stays 3 blocks off the strip at Ellis Island. Go stay at Aria. Win. Be a player. Don't be the guy that counts your baked potato and your applesauce and then figures out exactly how much the tip is. Take the cheese head off. Just pick up the damn check. Just once in your life, buy a sports car. I'm not saying you should have 6. I'm not saying you should do it when you just had your 3rd kid and you're putting away money for college. But Green Bay can be so Midwestern, it's paralyzing. You're not going to get another Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to go from Favre to Rodgers to another legend. It's not happening. I guarantee it. You know how lucky you are to get Aaron after Favre? Do you know how lucky the Colts were to get Luck after Peyton Manning? That doesn't happen. You get John Elway, and then you're literally 25 years searching for it. You get Dan Marino, it's 25 years searching for it. New England's figured it out. Brady leaves. Let's get bad fast, reboot, and get the next guy. Go get Will Fuller. You're never going to get another Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. It's over. Nobody's that lucky. You're too good of a franchise to get a top 4 pick. And the sport is now so quarterback-driven. This is why New England's got to get up in the top 5 or 6 picks. With Aaron, you're never going to be that bad. Jordan Love, early reports, that's not working. Okay? So all I know is this. Tampa Bay is excellent. And then they added Gronk. And now they add AB. They're still adding pieces. They'll probably add another piece. They added Leonard Fournette. They didn't have to have Leonard Fournette. They don't need AB. They didn't have to have Gronk. They already had 2 good tight ends. They're adding pieces. They're going for it because they know Tom Brady is 43 years old. And Seattle's adding Carlos Dunlap yesterday. Why? Because Pete Carroll's 69. How long is he going to be around? And Russell Wilson's playing the best football of his life. He can't play like this for the next 4 years. Come on, man. I know the cheeseheads are cool. I know that Packer jersey makes you feel special. Just once buy a sports car you can't afford. Just one time go to Vegas and pick up the check. Little lingerie and flowers just because. Not because it's an anniversary, just because. Go get Will Fuller. And I don't even know if it's going to work, but you owe it to Aaron Rodgers. You owe it to yourself. You butchered the second pick